Welcome to the channel, guys. This is Fusil de Chasse. The name of the channel is What's in Front of You, a Fusil de Chasse, the namesake. More on that later, but anyway, just want to introduce it. We'll talk about it for a minute, maybe, maybe not, or at another time. So what's happened recently that's prompted me to respond to this or on this subject is some channels out there recently have been talking about what's the best magazine for your AR or your NATO STANAG type firearm. There's a lot of opinions, a lot of it based on hobby and sport, not a lot of it based on actual empirical facts, not a lot of it based on hard use or 40 years of being in the trade. You heard me right, 40 years of being in the trade. The Fusil you see on top of these magazines did not come from a kit. That came from my own two hands, as have many of them. So I've got some experience. I also have experience in modern firearms, having spent the last 30 years of it, making my earnings of life from it. And recently I retired and closed shop, but I still have a place and I still have a vote. So I'm going to probably hurt some feelings and change some paradigms, and that's okay. You're entitled to know reality, and that's all I'm here to do. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't have anything for sale. I'm not trying to take anybody's money. I don't care about it. And frankly, I'm not real concerned about what others' opinions are. I know who I work for to this day. Yes, I'm not retired from working, but I have switched careers. I'm still in the same space. I work for a DoD contractor, and they have me because of what I know. So let's talk about these magazines. What works? So I've always been of the opinion the best magazine for your hard use, and what I mean by that is probably full auto, probably short barrel, probably suppressed, is still going to be a good old reliable GI magazine until it isn't. Magazines are consumable, and the sooner we understand and realize that and embrace it, the better off we are. Now, granted, you're on the range, the square range, or even the dynamic range, you're not throwing them, you're not leaving them, or you're writing them off to combat loss. You're going to take care of them as best as you can, whether it's your rifle, your pistol. You're still responsible for them. You paid money for them. You don't want to eat them and throw them away. I get it. We all do that. We're all careful with our gear. Doesn't mean we don't use it. Doesn't mean we don't test it and take it to its extreme. That's what it's supposed to do. But a lot of these channels that have been talking about magazines are basing it on a whole bunch of parroting from other folks who really probably aren't qualified to speak on the subject. In fact, they are just barfing the information. They're barf parrots, and I don't have time for it, nor should you. So let's dig into this while I get the thunder stick out of the way, and we'll go through these things one by one, so to speak. Bear with me. All right, so let's look at the standard original 20 round GI mag. Real basic. This one is an adventure line, has the old metallic follower, not anti-tilt. You know, it turns out we've learned a few things over the years that anti-tilt followers have a place. They're useful. We like them. We're going to use them. Next up, contract mag, made by a well-known maker, same guys who make these and same guys who make these. This one is in that weird silver finish, but it does have an anti-tilt follower, the Magpul variety, as you can see. Maybe the light catches it. Sorry, I'm in the workshop and I only have one light going. Bear with me. Next up is the newer version, which is for the enhanced 5.56 ammo. They work about the same as these, and nobody in the civilian world is getting a hold of the MA55A1 anyway, so whoop-de-doo. Here's a throwback, the good old Magpul Straight 20. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about these things having a lot of problems. I've never experienced a problem with this, suppressed or otherwise. I generally use them for bench shooting on a DMR if I'm working it, ranging it, whatever, no problem. I'm not a huge fan of Magpul magazines in general for serious social use. They have a place. It's on the training range or the square range or the target range, and that's where they belong. They do that wonderfully. They do not work well under suppressed fire, sustained suppressed fire, full auto fire, or a combination thereof. They tend to fail. What fails? The feed lips crack. They bow out. They will absolutely volcano rounds into your chamber and potentially even give you the impossible jam. And the reason is, and we'll get to that in a second, it's important. That's going to be a big takeaway, I hope, for you guys. Next up, 3 of my favorite hard use magazines. The Elander, steel body, stainless steel, in fact, anti-tilt follower, made in Israel. It's basically the Israeli version of the HK416 mag. Commercially, here you go. The OK magazine speed, yeah, OK made these, and they made these as well. These things are great. They work fantastic. It uses the GI type follower, not the Magpul type. Still works wonderfully. One of my favorite, all-time favorite hard use mags is the much bemoaned Lancer. And I don't understand that one either, because I have never had one of these fail the way I've had Pmags fail. They will fail the same as a GI or any other metal mag for various reasons, but they do not fail like Pmags. And the reason is this right here. It's a stainless steel feed lip. That's important. So you get the benefits of a polymer non-denting body, which can cause trouble, but you also get the benefit of a steel a reinforced magazine feed. Here's the one everybody thinks is the world's greatest magazine ever designed, the Magpul Pmag Gen 3. Forget the window, doesn't matter. It just happens to be the one I have out. And no, it's no better than this one or any other Pmag. It's still a range mag. It's still a hobbyist mag. If it's all you have, fine, then you work with it and figure it out. But if given a choice and you have to go into a dynamic range, two-way range, a bad situation, these are the mags to go to. But let's talk about why the Pmags and any other polymer mag too, the Troy Battle mag, the Tango Down mag, the Hex mag, or any others. You know, that polymer magazine has been around a long time. The Canadians came out with a thermold 40 years ago, and it worked until it didn't. They found out really quickly why it didn't. Well, Pmags today have that same problem. And here's the thing. What's not taken into consideration is every time you have a brass bullet, sometime there, yeah, just get used to. We're having a big rainstorm here in East Central Missouri. The brass bullet in cartridge is driving against the metal. This creates a drag. This creates control. This creates a slowdown. Even under austere conditions, with oil, with powder residue, with overpressure in the gun, especially in full auto or suppressed, that's when you're going to see that. It slows it down. It slows the bolt down. It slows the drag. It increases the drag, slows it down. A slower bolt's a happy bolt. The steel magazine, the Elander, and all the metal mags, and then yes, even the Lancer does that. And there's a reason for that. A hard use mag is going to require that. It should require it. If your magazines fail, there's something else going on, especially if you are hard use run. It means you've got 3 or 4 other things happening simultaneously, or the magazine itself is worn out, and they do wear out. Years and years ago, for the GI type magazines, there is a tool. I have one buried in the tool chest, used for calibrating the feed lips or straightening them out due to damage. And while that does work, what it won't do is, not here, but this is where these magazines crack over time. Same way with any of the polymer magazines, they eventually wear out. But that restriction, that drag created on the follower, on the feed lips, on the cartridge, is critical to a smooth functioning hard use gun. Polymer mags won't do that. So now you've got a slick plastic, you've got lubricant, you've got it hot, like 180 to 240 degrees hot. It slowly expands, it gives up its strength and grip on the cartridge, and in fact, it's going to give you the double feed or the impossible jam. This is reality. If you haven't experienced it, it means you probably haven't driven a gun that hard. Maybe you should start pushing that to try it. Also, keep in mind, while this is not an anti-tilt follower, and I don't have one out here, the blue ones are not typically anti-tilt, they will still feed reliably if the geometry of the feed lips is intact, if the weapon is lubricated properly, if it's clean to start with. It generally doesn't have any problem. There's no cracks at the metal mate seam here or the welding. You're going to have not okay. You're going to have fantastic results with that until you don't. Magazines, again, are consumable, and the closer we get to realizing that, the better off we're going to be. Everything made by man has problems. It's going to have a breakdown. It's why we maintain our vehicles. It's why we maintain our homes, et cetera, et cetera. So proper maintenance on both your magazines and your firearm are critical to making these components. It's not going to do you any good without this. Keeping them in good, reliable, clean, functioning order is critical. And when they no longer do that, say goodbye, sayonara. You've had a great life. Thank you for your service, and move on. Have plenty of magazines. One of the things that we talk about polymer magazines being somewhat newer to the space now is polymer magazines have been around a long time. I will tell you this. Out of all of these, this is probably my go-to favorite. The Elander is a close second, and then the GIs after that, I don't care. Any of them, if that's my choice, I'm going to eliminate the polymers. If I have no choice, that's fine. I'll just understand what I have my hands on. The most reliable, proven, combat effective polymer magazine ever made, in my opinion, is one that's not even for the AR. It's that. The Steyr AUG. That magazine has been proven in more theaters, in more conditions, in more austerity than just about anything else on the planet. And in fact, it works every single time. Now, the Steyr AUG that uses NATO Stanag type mags doesn't necessarily have that same reputation for durability just because of design in order for this magazine to work in the stock. But the original AUG mag is proven. And guess what? It does not have metal feed lips, but the polymer matrix that these magazines are made of is so incredibly good, it doesn't need it. And the rate of fire on a Steyr AUG is such that it is not going to overrun the magazine. So there you have it. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Leave it. Don't care. I know you guys will have opinions. Drop them in the comments box. That's fine. I may or may not respond because, frankly, you're going to have to figure it out yourself. In my opinion, doesn't really matter, nor should it to you. I'm just telling you right now, don't believe everything you see on YouTube, myself included, but realize a lot of these guys who are professing that this is the best magazine to have at all times for every reason, they are absolutely 100% wrong. Bank on that. This is where it's at, right there. GI metal, Lancers. That's it. That's all I got. Thanks.